Good evening, and welcome again to Public Perspective. I'm your host, Kevin McDermott. And as those of you who follow our show regularly know, sometimes we like to go a little off the beaten path. And tonight will be one of those nights. Our guest is Mani Rao, who is the co-chair of the World Zoroastrian Chamber of Commerce. Yes.
It's Chicago.
In Chicago. And also a singer, a musician, and someone interested in devotional topics as well. So welcome to the show. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the real basics. Zoroastrianism, even for those who can pronounce it, it's not something that people are familiar with. So tell us a little bit about it's a religion. What is it? When did it start? Who practices it?
Zoroastrianism is one of the oldest monotheistic religion, and it came to existence about 3,500 years ago. And it was the prophet is Asho Zarathustra of Zoroastrianism, and in Western world it is called Zoroastrian or Zoroastrianism. It came out of Greek word.
So what's the original word?
Zarathustra. Zarathustra.
Zarathustra.
Zarathustra is the name of the prophet. Prophet.
Right. Thus
Asho
spake
Zarathustra.
Zarathustra.
Yes. Thus spake Zarathustra. Yes, that is a
same person.
Same person. Yes.
Okay. And so he was a prophet 3,500 years ago?
Yes. Yes.
In what part of the world?
It was in old Iran. It used to be called Persia, and that's where he was born, and that's where the religion came along. And it's one of the oldest religion. In fact, they say that when Jesus Christ was born and there were 3 wise men, one of them was Zoroastrian. It's that old religion that is,
Well, Christianity itself is only a little over 2,000 years old.
Right. So
right. So
before
this is 1,500 years
15 years
older.
Older than Christianity.
And it's still practiced throughout the world, correct?
Yes. Yes. It is still practiced throughout the world, but it used to be called Iran used to be called Persia in that time, and so it was there, and almost like 600 AD to 600 BC to 600 AD, there was a Persian Empire at that time, and that's but because of the Arab invasion, and Zoroastrians they had to practice their religion with fear.
So let me stop for a second. So Zoroastrianism was the religion of that region in ancient Persia, now Iran, from approximately 600 BC to 600 AD. So for that 1,200-year period.
That's the empire, Zoroastrian Empire, Persian Empire.
Persian Empire, but Zoroastrianism was the religion of the empire, right?
Yes, yes.
And so did it spread at that time? Did it spread beyond the borders of Persia?
No, it was well known. It was mainly in Persia at that time.
Okay.
And the last empire was a Sasanian empire, and that's when the Arab took over and started. Zoroastrianism had to kind of be.
But in Persia is still occupied by, Iran is still known as its connection to ancient Persia, right? So what changed, I believe, is the religion. Islam became prominent in 600, 700, 800 AD, right?
Yes, about 652 AD.
And so then that supplanted Zoroastrianism as the religion of the state, or did the empire fall?
Empire fell, and so since Zoroastrians wanted to keep their faith going, because they were trying to believe in the religion with the fear, and also in the rural area, so they went in a sailboat to India.
All of them? Oh,
most of them.
Okay.
Most of them. Because there are still Zoroastrians there in Iran, but they were not coming out as Zoroastrians in the beginning. Now I think later on they did come out, but quite a few of them, they went in a sailboat to India, and they landed in state of Gujarat, and the place called Sanjan, that's where they landed.
And so there must still be a thriving Zoroastrian community there in Gujarat, right?
Yes, and that's how what happened, that since that time they came from Persia, they are called Parsis in India, because the religion is Zoroastrian. But if you ask any Indian, then say, oh, Parsi, yes, Parsi they know, rather than Zoroastrian, you know. So the religion is Zoroastrian, because that's still in Iran, there were some Zoroastrians were there. So in India they are called as Parsis, community.
Well, that's intriguing because, as you know, the language of modern-day Iran is Farsi, which is the same word.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
just
right.
different pronunciation. So there must be then, but my understanding at least is there are Zoroastrians around the world. There are communities in every, or nearly every country, right?
Yes, but it started out in India first. They landed in Sanjan in state of Gujarat, and there is a very interesting story behind it that if you like, I like to share with you. That when they came to the state of Gujarat, and they said that they did not know the Indian language, and the king at that time of that area, region, he did not know anything other than Gujarati or the Indian language. So the king asked his assistant to bring a bowl full of milk to show that, you know, we cannot take you in because we are full over here, completely full, you know, we are so highly populated. So then the Zoroastrian, the leader, he asked a person to bring a couple of teaspoons of sugar, and then he put that sugar into the milk, and then they promised the king at that time in a way that, you know, we will, I know you're filled up with the highly populated, but we will mix, we'll assimilate with you, we'll mix with you.
Just the way the sugar mixed in the milk.
Just the way the sugar mixed in the milk. And they kept the promise. They gave so many promises to that king, and they kept the promise. They kind of always assimilated, they mixed with the people, they adopted their language. That's why many Zoroastrians in India, they speak Gujarati, and they adopted some of their the sari that Gujarati people used to wear, the dress, you know, the outfit. So, and they adopted, and they promised the king that we will never try to make anybody Zoroastrians, or we'll never try to go out of Zoroastrian. So they wanted to keep their promises all along. So that's the story.
So I would assume then that may be part of the reason why, unlike many religions, Christianity, from my background, for instance, was a religion that people proselytized. They wanted to go out and preach the gospel and try to convert people. And I know Islam, there's a movement to try to bring people into the religion. And it may well be true of other religions I'm less familiar with. So that does not sound like the case with Zoroastrianism.
No, that doesn't. They say Zoroastrian is always born Zoroastrian. They never want to get converted, or they never want to convert anybody else. And that's why actually the community is really going down, you know. Now there are maybe around 200,000 Zoroastrians throughout the world, because the community has really gone down, 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 down.
Because you're not bringing in new members. You have to be born
They are not
into
bringing
it.
in new members. At the same time, there are conservative Zoroastrians in Bombay, because mostly they are in Bombay area. In almost 100,000 are in Bombay area, and through another 100,000 is rest of the world, you know. So in fact, they said that if girl marries outside the Zoroastrian, then the girl's children cannot become Zoroastrian.
This is the very conservative.
Very conservative
clerics,
in Bombay,
right.
in India,
Right,
in Bombay.
right.
So, like, you know, I have married to non-Zoroastrian Hindu, so my children cannot become Zoroastrian.
It seems kind of self-defeating, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, those Zoroastrians who have come out of India, and they have make their own kind of rules and regulations. Maybe I will tell you there is another organization, and so they are kind of changing the rules.
So you, excuse me, you are a co-chair of the Chicago chapter here.
Yes.
So what does the Chicago chapter believe? Is that can you join if I wanted to become a Zoroastrian?
Yes, yes.
I could
yes,
become one.
Yes. Okay, now the Zoroastrian, my chapter is the World Zoroastrian Chamber of Commerce. So that chapter is for the entrepreneurship. Because Zoroastrians believe in there are lots of entrepreneurs in India, and so they always encourage entrepreneurship. Actually, the association is called Zoroastrian Association of Chicago, ZAC. So what I am co-chair is a little bit different. It is a part of Zoroastrian because there are too many. Like in New York, they call it Zoroastrian Association of Greater New York, ZAGNY. Then in LA, there is a Zoroastrian Association of California. So there are like 26 associations. And FAZANA, that is a Federation of Associations of North American Zoroastrian Association. It's an umbrella
for all the local
for all the
organizations.
local organizations. So they are making changes. They are saying that, like in our temple, which we have it here in Chicago, anybody is welcome. Zoroastrians, non-Zoroastrians, or if somebody is interested in becoming Zoroastrians, they are welcome too.
So where is the temple?
Here it is in Burridge.
Burridge. Okay, but if someone were interested, they could find you on the web and find out where the temple is in Burridge, right?
Right, right.
Okay.
Then I was going to later on show my
You have a pamphlet that
my
says something
my,
about
my
it. Yes.
website.
We'll get there. Yes.
Yeah, we'll get okay.
Yeah. So your own children, are they Zoroastrian?
No, because I never tried to make them. I just wanted them to come out whatever that they feel like. You know, I never impose anything like that.
And so are they Hindu like your husband, or?
Yeah, I mean, they are more exposed to Hindu religion. I used to take them to temple and everything, and I don't have any regrets for that because I just believe in. I mean, I believe in all religions. I respect all religions, as long as it's a good Hindu, good Zoroastrian, good Muslim.
As long as you're not using it for evil, you should
Christian,
be okay no matter what it is, right?
It's okay, whatever it is.
So what is it that distinguishes Zoroastrianism? So, for example, it's a monotheistic religion,
Yes.
as is Islam, as is Christianity, Judaism. Is there something in particular that people would know about it? Like I know in Christianity, the service, or in Catholicism in particular, there's a service called the Mass, and there's the belief in the sacraments are actually partaking in the divine.
Yes.
Are there similar things in Zoroastrianism?
Yes. Zoroastrian's main thing is good thought, good deeds, and good words. That's always in our prayer. It's always there. It's called Manashni, Gavashni, Kunashni in Avesta language. In that one, our just like your Bible, we have a Kharde Avesta. It's called a religious book, and it's written in Avesta language. And so all our prayers are everywhere. There will be always like Manashni, Gavashni, Kunashni, and that is the main in righteousness. That's the Zoroastrians believe in.
But really good thoughts.
Good deeds and good words.
And good deeds and good words. Thoughts, deeds, and words. Well, that covers it all, doesn't it?
That
Really?
covers it all, yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're also, though, as part of your spiritual pursuit, you're also a musician and a singer and a composer, are you not?
Yeah.
Yes. So what drew you to that area, to music?
Okay, so actually, when I was a child, at the age of 4 years, I had sung my first song. I still remember that when I was in Montessori. So music was always, I always liked the music, but you know, when you are studying and with the family life and all that, it was kind of put aside, you know, sort of.
Sure.
So then, in about 5 years ago, I produced a CD of Zoroastrian monajets.
And monajets are prayers, correct?
Monajets are prayers. Um, that is Zoroastrian. Okay, in Zoroastrian there are three kind of prayers. One is the Khorde Avesta, that is listed in Avesta language. Second one is gathas, that is the Asho Zarathustra. There's a divine songs. It's a poem kind of thing, and it was not sung by Asho Zarathustra. So that's called gatha. And the third one is called monajet. Monajet is the direct communication with God. It's an Arabic word, ancient word, and the meaning of that is a direct communication with God.
Well, I'm going to ask you to sing one of your songs now, which actually I think is not a prayer, right? It's a popular song. So we're going to make an abrupt segue, right? And we're going to ask you to sing one of your songs. We have Nathan 5 code over here on keyboard. So can we get you to get up and sing one of the songs? And tell us what's the name of the song, the first song that you're going to sing.
So
the name of the song.
The name of the song is, that's from, do you want me, I'm singing the Bollywood song.
Yes, right.
Okay. Hame tumse pyar hai kitna.
Is there an English translation for that?
No, that means how much I love you.
Ah, well, there you go. So, all right, let's hear how much you love us. So, Monty, please grab a microphone and let's go.
हमें तुमसे प्यार कितना ये हम नहीं जानते, मगर जी नहीं सकते तुम्हारे बिना। हमें तुमसे प्यार कितना ये हम नहीं जानते, मगर जी नहीं सकते तुम्हारे बिना। हमें तुमसे प्यार। सुना गम जुदाई का उठाते हैं लोग, जाने जिंदगी कैसे बिताते हैं लोग। इन्हें भी यहाँ तो लगे बरस के समान, हमें इंतजार कितना ये हम नहीं जानते, मगर जी नहीं सकते तुम्हारे बिना। हमें तुमसे प्यार।
Very good, very good. Thank you. So one of the things I note, as you probably know, I'm a musician. In fact, Nathan and I have done a number of things together over the years musically, is the intonation. And I grew up with Western music and think in terms of the Western scale. But what you just sang reminds me much more of like a Chinese kind of scale, right? There are tones in between that don't really appear in Western music, but are common in Chinese. And so that I sort of hear that coming through your music as well. Is that, am I hearing that correctly, or is that something that you bring to it because you're you, right?
Yeah, I think because I think this is a song from a Hindi movie, but it kind of made it like a fusion because Nathan was good enough to collaborate with me and made a song sort of like a Hindi music. It's like a fusion, the music was like a fusion. So I really don't know too much about Chinese music, so I don't have any say for that.
Yes, I know it mostly through a reference from a Steely Dan song, but I also have heard some of it. So I do have a kind of sense for the musical tones in Chinese music, which, as I say, is very different from Western in that the pitches and the tones, like they kind of fall between where you would expect Western music to do it. And I hear, as I say, I hear much of that in this kind of song as well. Did we hold up the CD yet? Have we shown the CD yet? Did you hold that up yet or not? I think we did.
Yeah,
yeah, but we'll do it again. What the heck? So there it is. So this is the CD of the songs that you were singing. Is the song you just sang on that CD, or these are different ones?
No, this is
These are all the
CD
prayers,
of,
right?
It's called Zoroastrian Monajats.
Yes.
And as I explained to you, the Monajat means a direct communication with God.
Right.
And it used to be written in written in Farsi language in the beginning. But then it became very popular in Gujarati language. And so this CD that I produced was in Gujarati language. That's Gujarati Zoroastrian devotional songs in Gujarati. But now I want to translate this into English and put them into music for younger generation. But in the meantime, I got inspired to write some devotional song in English. Some of them are based on Zoroastrianism, and some of them are just because I want to attract people of every walks of life. And so you can go to this website. This is what I have produced.
And we'll put up the website key in a moment. But so
Okay.
good thoughts, good works, and good words, and good deeds.
Yes.
Right.
That's the website is Soulful Serenades, but that's the
concept of
concept
it, right?
of that, yeah.
Right, and soulfulserenades.com.
Yes,
right,
soulfulserenades.com.
Right.
And if you want any further information, you can just go there and
and
contact me.
Get your fill, right?
Get your fill, yes.
Actually,
yes.
I have visited your website, and there's quite a bit there. So people who are interested in learning can go and see what your music is about. There's samples of your music there.
Yes.
And there's a more explanation of you and how you approach this and why you do these things, right?
Right. Because what happened that after I produced this CD a couple of years ago, and it was on a different Zoroastrian website, and people kind of really gave me very good comments, and it was a very gratifying for me, because everybody said you sound so soulful and this and that, and
serenading, hence the name, Soulful Serenades.
Right, and that's the reason I gave the Soulful Serenades name. And so then I started, it was well received by my community. Actually, I made this and donated to some of the Zoroastrian associations in United States for their fundraising activity. And it was well received because it went on internet. So, and then I got invited by Zoroastrian Congress in Australia, and they wanted me to sing a couple of monajats from there. And so people kind of started telling me that, oh, you know, I listened to that, I listened to this, and it sounds so soulful. And somebody came and told me that, you know what, Mani, whenever I put your CD, my mother has Alzheimer, but she just perks up. And that was kind of, I was really amazed. And
well, I have read that elsewhere and talked with people who do work with dementia patients, and that music is a language that still gets through.
yes,
And that even patients with fairly advanced dementia can still connect back to the music, and sometimes even remember lyrics from songs they knew as children.
right.
So it has that power to cut
yes.
through and reach people at a very important level, right?
Yes, music is the language that everybody understands. That's how I feel.
Yes, I'm a musician as well, and sometimes I feel that I actually don't understand any of it, but that's a different story. So anyway, we have another song. This is a fusion song that you have ready, with the Will to Live.
Now or later?
Yes, no, let's do it now. And so,
Shall I do it now?
yeah, so let's do one more. And this is called Will to Live, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's my challenge, it's my secret, I know that you'll deny.
Very good, very good. You know, it's interesting. I don't, maybe it's just me, but I think I'm always swayed more by songs that are in languages I don't understand. I don't know why that is. But honestly, I listen to music from Africa, and I think, wow, that just sounds so cool. And I listen to music from even European countries. I'll listen to something sung in Spanish and think, oh, that just sounds so much cooler. And I don't speak Spanish, so I think that it allows me to hear the melody
Right.
in a way that I don't actually get distracted by the lyrics. I mean, I shouldn't say that because anyone who's a singer thinks, no, the lyrics are really important. But it speaks to me more to hear that other language. And I think to hear something about how that language expresses emotion.
Right.
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 So we only have about a minute left, believe it or not. So tell me just a little bit about the Chicago chapter if anyone wants to check you out.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody wants to check me out, they can go into that Soulful Serenades website and contact me. And because you know what, on March 15th, actually we are going to have a big program and sponsored by WZC. And anybody is, it's the first day of spring that is coming up on March 21st. So we are celebrating on March 15th. And that is because the new year will be starting on March 21st, but we are going to have March 15th as the last day of the year.
Well, and that's the last minute of our show. So, Mani, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me over here.
And thank you for joining us once again on Public Perspective. I'm your host, Kevin McDermott. You can find us every Saturday night at 8 on Comcast Channel 19 or see us on the web at publicperspective.tv. So until next time, thank you and good night. Stay right there.